Hello everyone, welcome again. So the other day we put up on our Instagram just about topics that people wanted to talk about or to have discussed. The main one that came back really was about batting. So there were kind of a few vague references on being better at batting and how to hit better. But so what we're really going to look at today is kind of a few main headings, and they're kind of questions that you need to ask yourself or ask your team just on are we doing this, are we not doing that, and then based off your answer to that you'll know what you maybe need to work on. So the first thing we need to think about when it comes to batting is what is a good at bat, and then based off what we perceive a good at bat to be, we can make corrections. So we can see, okay, am I doing that? That's what I think a good at bat is. So am I doing that? And if I'm not, how do I make the corrections? How do I get there step by step? So the first question I suppose everyone needs to ask themselves, and it's very simple, is are you practicing enough? And it's not just the same as am I going to train enough? So if we want to become a better batter, are we practicing batting enough? So if we look at any sport where we're striking a ball and somebody isn't happy with how they're striking that ball, be it rounders, golf, baseball, hurling, anything, even like if you want to take it into Gaelic football, if we're not happy with how we're hitting the ball, from a foot, hurl, bat, golf club, doesn't matter, we need to practice it. So I'd like you all to ask yourself, how many times am I practicing that a week? So if we take any sport, it's like, oh well, I practice hitting the ball 10 times. It's like, okay, so if someone's struggling at another sport, so football or hurling, and they're not very good at striking the ball, and they practice a week 10 times hitting that ball, are we really expecting them to make a whole lot of progress? And again, only you can answer that. So I personally, I think it'd be a bit unfair to expect, say, like a child starting off playing hurling or something, and they practice striking the ball with the hurl 10 times a week, and then my son or daughter or whoever, they're not very good at it. It's like, well, they're not really practicing hitting it enough. So they're step number one. So it's kind of hard to work on, oh well, is it the technique, is it something else, which we'll get onto in a few minutes, if we're just literally not practicing enough. So again, just make a little note how many times in the next week or the next training or whatever that you practice it. Either with your team, on your own, or anything. We've determined if we're practicing enough, or hopefully we are. So we need to think, okay, I'm putting in the time and I'm still not getting the hits that I want to get. Okay, what am I doing wrong? Again, goes back to what is a good at bat. Am I swinging and missing? Is it a timing thing? Am I just missing the ball every single time? Am I swinging too early? Am I swinging too late? Am I struggling with the weight of the bat? Is it too light? Is it too heavy? Is it too short or too long? So, when it comes to the bat, people always think, oh, such and such is a good bat and that's a bad bat. And realistically, 99% of bats are good bats. Does it make a difference to have your own bat? 100% it does. And anyone who thinks that it doesn't is kind of just kidding themselves. It doesn't mean that you need to have a fantastic bat, but having a bat that you are comfortable with and that you know how it swings. No different than if you're playing hurling or if you're golfing. If you have your own equipment, you're going to be so much better, so much more comfortable. You know how it swings. Nothing is a surprise than if you don't. I'll bring it back to hurling and camogie. Like if you're using a club hurl, how many great players at any level are using equipment that is not their own? Or if you're playing football, if you're borrowing someone else's boots, is it going to be as good as having your own? Even if it could be a fantastic pair of boots that you're using, but again, if you're changing the whole time and borrowing one from someone one day and then the next day you're getting another pair, you're not getting used to that comfortable striking. And again, we're just talking about marginal gains here with the batting. If you have your own go-to bat that every single time, that's my bat, I put in so much time, it's like an extension of my arm at this stage, it makes such a difference. And then obviously following on from that, so if we know, okay, well, I'm happy with the bat because I'm now making contact, it's like, okay, well, what's your contact like? What's your swing? Are you, as I said earlier, are you swinging and missing? Have you recorded this? It's very hard to measure your progress, like on subjective things. So it's like, well, have you a video recording of your swing? Can you see you're doing? Is the same thing happening each time? Again, like it doesn't take an awful lot. Like someone whip out the phone, record you swinging. You'll see. Sometimes it's easier to see it and make the correction rather than someone telling you. Because like even though like someone could tell you you're doing this, you're doing that wrong. If you see it yourself, it might make it a bit easier. So at your next training session or anything, get someone to record you. Just stand beside. It's like, are you swinging before the ball comes in? Are you swinging basically when the ball has gone by you? And then, okay, are we hitting the ball? Are we hitting the right part of the ball? Are we hitting the bottom of the ball? Are we hitting the top of the ball? That obviously determines where the ball is going. So the last thing I want to hear from any batter is, oh, I'm going in and I'm just trying to hit it. Again, go back to another sport. If you're playing anything else, doesn't matter, like pick your poison. Go back to football or hurling. If you're just swinging the boot at the ball and hoping to kick it, it's like, well, is that much good to your team? It's like, well, no, you're supposed to be trying to hit a target, be it space, a player, in the goal, over the bar. It has, you have to have an objective endpoint. And really the same goes for distance. So like, I'd often have players and people come up to me and say, oh, well, I can't hit it out in a game. I do it in training the whole time. It's like, okay, you're clearing the outfield in training. It's like, do you know how far they're standing? Like, is the outfield actually in the same position in a game? So maybe you are consistently hitting the same distances, but the outfield is just playing in different places in a game versus in training. So again, without measuring it to a certain extent, you can't really tell. It's like, oh, I hit it past the furthest player. It's like, but if in training your furthest player is 45 meters out, and in a game they're 60 meters out, well, obviously if you're clearing the outfield, that's a completely different distance. So like, is your perception of what you're doing the same, or are you taking that into account? Like when it comes to hitting the ball further or hitting the ball harder, without tracking distance and like exit velocity or something, it's kind of hard to test that out, because if you're, as I said, like if the outfielder standing in different positions, if that's your gauge of how far you're hitting it, it's not really objective. Same as hitting the ball harder. It's like, oh yeah, I'm doing really well and I'm hitting it hard and low and it's blown past the infield. It's like, but what's the level of those infielders? Like maybe the exact same hit that you're quite happy with in one game or in training isn't the same the next day against a different infield. Or maybe the other way around. You don't think that you're hitting it that hard because there's a fantastic infielder at training, and then as soon as you go into your game, it's actually flying past them. If we record our swing, you will be able to see how you're swinging. Is it all arms? Are you like Happy Gilmore? Are you rolling up into the ball? Is that causing issues? Sometimes it is as straightforward as just looking at what you're doing and assessing it. Like sometimes people can see it very quickly with other people. Oh yeah, you can see them doing this, or they're completely swinging under the ball and it's going up in the air. It's like, okay, well, if we're swinging under the ball, how are we expecting to hit it low and hard? We need to level out that swing. But some people might think, oh, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not. I'm swinging nice and level. And then you show them a video of themselves or something, and they go, oh, right, okay, didn't realize that. So again, it just comes back to sometimes the best way to improve is to track it. Like if you're doing your running, if you're doing work in the gym, it's like, oh yeah, I show up to the gym every day and I don't think I'm getting any better. Like, well, if you don't look at the weights that you're doing, or you're not tracking the reps, or it's impossible to know if you're actually progressing. So batting should be no different. Do you have some way of measuring what you're doing? So it could be the eye test. Get a video of your swing. Even picture how you're standing holding the bat. Are your hands up? Are your hands down really low so that when the ball comes in, you have no option but to swing up. It's like, okay, well, if we can fix that one thing, that will make a difference. Like, I'm not expecting everybody to be able to make 1,000,001 corrections. Like, that's too much too soon. But it's just like, every time you go in there, go in with intention, and then the next time you go in, okay, did I improve on anything? Yes, that one thing was better. Okay, I'm going to practice that. Then that becomes second nature. Then we can practice something else. Don't try and change 1,000,000 things at once, but just focus on small marginal gains, and they will all add up. If you've enjoyed this type of video, let us know, give it a like, and if you'd like to see more stuff Rounders related, follow and subscribe. So thanks everyone.